Manuel Cruz, the Executive Director of the Lower Grand Valley Development Council.
Manny, there's been a meeting today. Your office is here in Weslaco, a rather large crowd. Tell us what it's all about.
Very exciting day today. Today, the General Land Office took the opportunity to award some hefty dollars, over $13 million for improvement of infrastructure, drainage, projects such as those to not only large communities but also small communities. So that was a tremendous incentive for the communities to receive those awards.
And I know Land Commissioner Buckingham was down here a few weeks back, and basically then it was the larger communities that were getting checks. Yes. But today it seemed to be all about the smaller cities, and all of the representatives were very excited.
Mm-hmm. Yes, they were. We're ecstatic to see, the Rio Hondos of the world receive some funding, much needed, so they can continue to improve the infrastructure and improve the quality of life for the citizens. Not only there, but as you know, our region, floods regularly, and so any improvement that they do there potentially might impact in a positive way others down the road.
And I know in your role as the leader of the Council of Government, you get involved with the smaller communities and the bigger ones too, but you have to look at the fine print on all of this. How complicated is it for the smaller communities to connect with the leadership in Austin and fill out all the forms? How bureaucratic is it? How much effort does it take, and specialization is needed to actually access that money?
Well, I can tell you, Steve, the Lower Grand Valley Development Council, it's a regional planning commission under the Texas law. And so we've been here in existence since 1967. And so most of the funding, not all, but some of the funding trickles down to us. And so we have experience in that. And, if you look at small cities, they don't have the capacity, to be able to apply for grants, but not only apply for grants, but manage the grants. That's where the real work begins. Receiving the grant, applying for the grant is fine, but once you receive it, the work, that's where the real work starts. And so us being in this business for so long, a local government, we're in the perfect setting, being a neutral party in all this, to provide guidance to these cities, especially the small cities, which they might not have the manpower. We can provide that to them and guide them towards the right direction on how to fill applications and look for funding and so forth. So we're kind of like an extension of those cities and counties.
Is there a certain timeline? They must have the projects built in a certain period of time, otherwise the money goes away?
I'm certain every grant has a deadline for these. I'm not particularly informed on the obviously the time period for the projects, but I would imagine a couple of years. Typically, it's between 2 to 3 years time frame. Of course, there's room for extensions if needed. If the project is large and requires more time due to engineering and environmental things that need to be done, I'm sure that the GLO will work closely with those cities to grant them an extension or work with them in that regard. Yeah.
Last question. These small cities on their own, left to their own devices, they simply haven't got the funds to do these major projects. So
correct.
You probably weren't surprised by the level of excitement there was among the mayors and city commissioners, city council members here from the smaller cities on how thrilled they are with today's announcement.
Oh, of course, they were thrilled. I was thrilled just seeing the small cities, the small communities, and I'm only going to name here. I'm neutral here, so like Mercedes, Rio Hondo, La Feria, even in Willacy County, which they need that funding. It really helped them out. So it was an eye opener, and very excited to see the small communities be here today and receive those huge amounts of money. So,
anything else you would like to say on this subject?
No, sir. That's it.
Thank you, Manny.
Thank you.